Okay, I've got my dark green and I'm going to join it right into the corner. This is along the other side of the first row that we did. We came up and these were the manufactured base rows, and we're going to come back and work along the other side of them. Just excuse all these ends that I've got. I will get to darning them in. So stitch through everything on the hook that attaches. Now when you're looking at your work, bearing in mind this is the bottom from what we were working at the top, you've got your bars that you count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what you're looking for. The top of the bar is where you put your hook down straight through your work and you pull up a loop. So go to the top of the next bar, straight through your work, pull up a loop. You do that all the way along. Remember, you don't have your nice V sides to this because we manufactured this row when we worked up. So find your bar, go straight down at the bottom, at the top of that. It was the bottom the first time we worked it. So we've got 3, 6, the 7th one, we've got a right angle here, so you're doing a join. Now, you haven't got your V stitch at the edge to go into. If you just went into that loop there, it'd gape open. You don't want it to gape open. So I find my vertical bar, and beside that there's 2 horizontal threads. Go between those 2 threads. That picks up 2 threads over your hook, and you're pulling up your loop. So 2, 4, 6, now you've got 7 on your hook. You can take them off. You don't have to go through one at the edge because you've got a join. Okay, I'm just going to show you this first one as if it was a square because you know how to do squares, and it would be easier to learn how to do your pickup there. And the next one I'll show you the triangular alteration. So take them off, pick them all up. 7th one, find your vertical bar. Beside that, hook side of that, there's 2 little horizontal bars. Go between those and pull up your thread. So across the bottom, when you're first picking up your stitches, you find your vertical bar and you dive in at the top of that. When you're doing your join on the side, you find your vertical bar, find the 2 horizontal stitches and dive down between those. Right, here's the back at the side, vertical bar, there's the 2 horizontal. It's a little bit wonky, but I can still get between them. Once you've gone between it, sometimes it pulls the one above a little bit wonky, but that's okay as long as you get your hook through. And remember, it is handmade, it doesn't have to be machine-made precision. If people wanted that, they can go and buy a machine-made piece. So, vertical, horizontal, dive down. I think I've got one more on this one, and then the next I will do is a triangle, not a square. If you wanted to just keep doing squares down this row, it's fine, there's no problem with that, but I need to show you how to do the triangles. Oops. No, I split the thread. I'll try again. There we go. I think this should be your 5th. Oop. Let me take them up in 2s, not 3s. 3s is the decrease, that's what we need for the triangle. My hook's gotten loose in this handle. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the 5th, but it needs to be bound off because it's still open. So come across and bind it off. Now you've got to bind it across to here. So see this loose bit in the corner? I'm just going to go in on the inside of that and bind it straight across. Some of my corner bits are a lot looser than others, so see that one there. But when I come and bind that across, that'll just hide it all at the back. So we've bound that across in a triangle. We still have to pick up all the way across, so find your vertical bar and dive in at the top. Pull up a thread. When you dive in at the top, you've got your 2 threads at the top of the needle, the hook. One more. That's got 6 on the hook. You need to join across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the bottom one. Find the horizontal beside, dive down, join across. Okay, we're going to make this one a triangle. Come back through 2 all the way until you have 3 left on the hook. Got 3 there now. Go through all 3. That's a decrease. When you come back to pick up, don't pick up the first one. Right, that's down that line there, goes up to there. Pick up the second one and pick up all the way back. You're going to dive in, find your horizontals, go in. Now take it off 2 at a time until you get to the end 3. 3 there now. Take all 3 off. Come back and miss that edge one and pick up the second one. So each row gets shorter. Still joining the same way. You still pick up the first row the same way. You have to pick up all your stitches. You still join the same way. When you're taking them off the hook, take the last 3 off together. Miss the edge one and pick up that one. You've only got 3 on the hook now until I do my join. That'll give me 4. So I go through 2 and then I go through 3. Right at the top here, miss the edge one, pick up that one, and the last join, I've only got 3 on the hook. Go through all 3 and then bind it over into your corner. Slip stitch through everything. And then we've got a little triangle. So you pick up the same way, join the same way. As you're taking it off, the edge, go through 3. Then miss that one and pick up the second one in. So each row you're getting 1 short on this side. Have a nice little V edge on there, and you just keep on doing that all the way down. I do that when I'm finished the blanket, and I'll have all of these light coloured squares on the edge. I do that coming along here, and then depending on how I feel, I might make up something to go triangular there, or I might not. I've done both of them look good. So once again, we'll go and do a triangle. Find your vertical bar, dive down at the top. When you're doing triangles on edges that have got your V stitch, you just go under the V. Same as picking up for a square. What you're doing is picking up exactly the same way, whichever. You're only diving through here because it's on that manufactured base row that we did. Picked up, we've got 6 there. The 7th one is the join across. Find your vertical, beside that the horizontals, dive in. Take them off 2 at a time till you get to the end, then go through 3. Miss the edge one and pick up the second. So each row gets shorter, and that's what makes the triangle. It gives you a nice straight edge that doesn't curl. The squares always curl up in the corner. Whoops, through 3 at the end, almost forgot. This one, pick up the second. As I was saying, the squares always curl up in the corners. It's the nature of the stitch. You can stop it by blocking it And you can also do, say, like a double crochet, or sorry, single crochet if you're American, edge around it. That does detract from the entrelac itself. Through 3, pick up the last one, and you join. What happened to my horizontals there? That pulled right in. Okay, I'll find them. Pull through 3, and then bind it across at the top. It's got 2 triangles done. It gives you a nice straight edge. It finishes off nicely, and that bit doesn't curl. You'll find that the squares always curl, whereas the triangles stop that. Now, I think this is the first time. I'm going to show you the back. That's how they join at the back. You do have a different colour peeking through on the edges, top and bottom. And these are the side edges. It looks like a garter stitch in knit on the back. Now this side here, see, it's a bit thicker, the joining bit, but it's not very much, not very noticeable at all. That's that manufactured edge. Just gives you a slightly thicker bit. I'll have to take that out and make that a triangle. Okay, when you start to do your next row, I always start back at the beginning. You're looking for your right angles. There's one there. You're doing the dark colour, so you start here, pick up and join. Come back to do your next light colour. You'll join in here, and you've got to chain out, then pick up and join. I think that's about all I can help you with. Any questions? Leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something.